Alright everyone, so the Murky Cup continues over on the left side in our first round match in the best of 3 series. As we're starting things off on Garden of Terror, we got the Raccoons with Disciple on Ophir. Gavlo is playing Varian. We got a Hogger on, Ubi on Hogger, twice on Diablo, and Scorch on Brightwing. Over on the right side of the map, Hypernova, Kablamo with Cassia, we got Tsuksumuksu on Oriel, Grolk on Medivh, so we're going to keep a close eye again on the baseline for him and see if he's able to complete his quest here. Velkorn with the Haka, and Panda J with Muradin. No draft in this series. This was actually played at the same time as the other first round match, so this is all casted from replays directly. But as you can already see here, we are having on level 1 High King's Quest for Varian. Now obviously, in addition to the normal prize pool that we have for the tournament, we also have the bounty pool, and there's plenty of bounties to go around that the teams can complete in order to get themselves some extra pizza money. If you're interested in the list of the bounties, you can check out the description of the video. I will post a link in there, so if you haven't seen the bounties yet or you just want to check up on them again, just check out the description. All the links are present right there. But it already looks like we're going to get a bounty attempt on the side of the Raccoons. I mean, this is going to be the Twin Blade Variant attempt for sure. Team Hypernova comes into the series as the underdog. They're a team that hasn't participated in tons of high-level tournaments yet. But they're coming in with a nice rotation on Medivh and get first blood. So nicely done. Congratulations. Well played here. Cassia getting the stacks together for them. But you can already tell from the composition that they are playing that there's actually no potential for them to get a bounty completed here. So their objective is really just to go as far in the tournament as they can and to win some maps. Whereas for the Raccoons, they're obviously not only trying to win the series, but they're also attempting to, this early on in the tournament, get themselves a couple of bounty tickets. Now we are in Group A. This is the first round match in Group A, and we have a loser's bracket, so whichever team doesn't make it here will still be able to attempt the run through the lower bracket. So we'll see who has to go through that. For now, we have at the top side Varian just whacking away here, but again, given his level 1 choice and the fact that we have a triple front line with Diablo for the blue team, Twin Blades is the obvious conclusion. And it's also a really nice bounty to try and complete because it gives you double the reward. When we had in the past a bounty system for tournaments and we had Twin Blade Varian as a bounty for the teams, pretty much nobody attempted it or completed it because it's just so bad. So we upped the ante a little bit in this particular tournament and made sure that certain bounties have twice the reward than usual ones. Varian is one of them, Butcher another, and then also Murky. So in this case, Twin Blades is going to be attempted. Another problem, honestly, that we're going to have for Hypernova is Disciple on Ophir. I'm actually a little bit shocked that that made it through the draft, because in the recent Anniversary Cup, Disciple has proven time and time again that he is an absolute monster on Ophir, and essentially every team has at some point decided that they would just ban Ophir against him because they didn't want to deal with it. Hypernova didn't do that, so now they have to go up against Ophir here too. Thus far, we only had 1 kill in this game, though, as the first seeds are now spawning. Medivh, by the way, doing a pretty good job here with the stacking. He's at 21 stacks already, and we're only 3 minutes into the game. So, very, very nice effort that we're getting here from Grolk. And if he can prevent himself from getting killed, then he should actually complete this in a pretty reasonable time frame, as the red team is now pushing for the structures at the top. They are heavily underway on the map with 4 heroes though, so they might miss out on a bit of lane experience, but they have to be careful. Muradin is currently the one rotating between the lanes. Not really the position where you normally see Muradin in. That's more Dehaka's job. Panda J with Muradin, not really the hero that has the most wave clear here and can clear those minion waves in a reasonable time frame. So yeah, they might have a bit of a problem there. Early level 7 talents already for the Raccoons. And the attempt at the top to try and maybe go for Welcome here. But we have Twin Blades as already expected, and as we are starting to progress through the talents, once that we have level 10 hitting, it's gonna get pretty spicy. 37, 39 stacks for Grolk, and nice! Before the 4-minute mark, we have Medivh complete his quest. Pretty solid effort, really well done by him, and obviously now he can also start to play a little bit more aggressively, try to, for example, not save all the cooldowns in the shield for himself and just for a couple other heroes. We have Hogger already being pushed out here, but with the blue team in control of the first seat and locked in at the bottom left and now aiming for a second one. And it seems like Team Hypernova is going to attempt to contest this. Already Muradin moving in here. It's quickly attacked. The Haka isn't with the team yet. Hogger either, by the way. This is a 4 versus 4 for the time being. But with the Haka moving in, the numbers advantage now goes to Hypernova as they're aiming for the first seed in game number 1 of the best of 3 series. At this point, though, it seems like it might be Muradin that is in trouble first. He has definitely some issues, but Orphea dies. The second and the third kill for Team Hypernova, and they get a seed as well. The only problem is that with Ubi never joining the team, he was able to get a lot of damage in at the bottom fort. The wall is gone and the fort is pretty much down to 50% HP. Let's call it 60%. Still a very nice effort from Team Hypernova. They are on the same experience as the opponent, and we can actually break this down a little bit. As already expected with the way that they've been playing this, the problem for the red team right now is the minion experience that they're getting on the lanes. This is where they actually fall behind. They make up for it with the hero experience advantage that they have over the opponent, but at the end of the day, that just means that both teams are at the same level of XP. And structurally, the blue team has now started to take a bit of a lead. Now, down at the bottom of the map, seems like Hogger still has a lot of freedom here, but the next seed is also spawning, and then we're going to see a bit more action around all of this. Disciple still needs to be careful when those portals all of a sudden appear right on top of his nose. Orphea, as strong as she might be in the right hands, she can still be quite squishy, and that's obviously a bit of an issue. The 10 ability is now kicking in for both sides, which gives us the Shockwave, for example, on the side of Hogger. And Muradin not going for Avatar, trying to go for some isolation plays apparently with Playmaker. Now, to be fair, he has Medivh behind him, so with a nice shield and portal, they can definitely try and save the main tank if he's in trouble. But Avatar would have gone a long way for survivability. Holy Bomb also for Medivh, and again the battle for the camp, and the red team steals it. They come in for the team fight, they steal the mercenary camp, but can they get out alive? Or can they maybe even kill a couple of heroes? They take Hogger down. That's 4 kills to 0. The Raccoons are actually starting to struggle. The Raccoons haven't gotten a single kill yet. Oh, and there's Brightwing going down, but Auriel is also low, so is Cassia. The entire team is trying to make it out of the fight, and they are able to escape. Team Hypernova. Nice! I like it. Really good showing in game number 1 from them so far. Now again, catching a bit more minion experience would probably go a long way to establish an even bigger lead for themselves. But their teamfight control up to now has been very, very solid. We don't have a lot of stacks for Cassia though, so if you want to nitpick a bit, well, Cassia is actually getting targeted down at the bottom of the map, then it would be that Cassia is only sitting at 17, 20 stacks around the 8-minute mark. That's normally when you want to be at around 40. So yeah, she's definitely trading slightly. Top side though, the damage continues. Nice! The Haymaker! And Orphea gets murdered again. Now she's sitting at 27,000 damage, which puts her into the top spot. That was a close call too. We nearly had another kill against Hogger. But as I was about to say, Orphea holds the top damage right now. Medivh with 25,000 just behind her. And then we have the Haka also with some pretty decent numbers here. But again, with 6 kills to 0, the pattern continues. We have the Hypernova getting more and more ahead in the game. And Raccoons, they're still waiting for the first kill in this game. So things aren't going all that great for them. They are doing structural damage at the bot lane. This is the one that they've been pressuring continuously from the get-go. But they're now also trailing in seeds. So the second one has been picked up by the red team. And they could now try and force the issue here, aiming for the first Garden Terror of the game. But the channel gets completed. Orphea grabs it, which means that the next seed that spawns on the map will result in one of the two teams grabbing Garden Terrors for themselves. So that's absolutely inevitable. 13 turns already, which means that we are having same talent here on each side. Mortal Strike is in. Diablo, they're trying to isolate him. Yes, Orphea comes in with a bit more damage. Polymorph immediately being used. Aegis as well. Kablamo gets out, but it seems like Panda J might fall here. He jumps back out and gets eventually murdered. And the same is true for Medivh. All of a sudden, the blue team with the double kill, and they're trying to go for the triple. Taking down Auriel, moving in for Kablamo, and taking Cassia apart as well. Nicely done 4 kills in just one fight by the Raccoons, and they're immediately applying pressure to the opponent, taking the fort out in the middle of the map, and start to steal a few of the camps away too. Gavlo is already working on the mercenary camp at the bottom of the map. Brightwing is moving in for the next fort, so structurally Hypernova is now falling behind. And of course a big problem for them too is that the experience lead is now in the hands of their opponents. The Raccoons have nearly a level advantage over their opponents right now and are hoping to grab the seed as well. Which hasn't worked out so far. The red team is moving in again to make sure that there are no Garden Terrors. Hogger is at the top, so it's a 5 versus 4 for now in favor of Hypernova. They're trying to channel. Hogger is slowly making his way down here. But the blue team is just trying to interrupt. They have camps in the middle and at the bot lane. And they're still starting to do some damage on the structure. But now the team's slowly moving back into that choke point. That could be a problem. Hogger still not here, on his way. But the channel has already happened. The Garden Terrors are in play for the Raccoons. Varian goes down, Orphea is down, and the red team is again going for a little murder spree here as they're focusing their attention on Brightwing. The Stormbolt misses, but in comes Cassia and Medivh with the final blow. So now 9 kills to 4, but of course the Garden Terrors on the map, and they are doing damage on those keeps at the fort at the top lane and at the bottom of the map too. This push is going to be defended against though. This is the one big advantage for Team Hypernova now with the kills they just locked in, that this push is not going to be nearly as effective as it could have been. Meridian gets stunned out at the top, but yeah, the fort up here will likely fall. Meridian just doesn't have... it just makes it. Will eventually be destroyed. But yeah, Meridian couldn't clear this any faster. He just doesn't have the wave clear that he would need for that. Both teams with level 16 talents at this point in time. We have 38,000 damage for Orphea. Diablo is, funnily enough, the only one on the blue team side that hasn't died yet. For their opponents, for Team Hypernova, it's Dehaka. 30,000 damage for Cassia. So she's the top damage dealer for the team now. Has actually surpassed Medivh, only by a bit, but still, it counts. On Orphea, with all of the wave clear that she also brings in, is sitting at nearly 100,000 siege damage at this point. Dehaka, as the only real global in the game, real global in terms of like wave clear and lane presence, is currently dealing with the bot lane, but could join the fight at the top if he needs to. And I think they're going to need him very quickly here, so Velcon is moving now in from behind. They're trying to get the kill on Murden. He's not the only one in trouble. They're also making the play for Cassia, and she just gets the heal from Oriel. A lot of hope coming through here from Suksumuksu, and at the same time the blue team is relentlessly attacking and trying to push the agenda here, with Orphea just slapping away one hit after another. The heals coming through and they're getting pushed back. Hypernova is slowly falling back. They're losing the fort now. The fountain also gone, and the team still on the run. Medivh gets attacked, and this should be the end of him. He tries to go through the portal and makes it. Orphea comes in though, wants to kill, but the shield prevents it. Nice recovery from Hypernova. They are able to move back out, but at the bot lane, it's a bit of a disaster. The fort, the keep, it gets attacked here, and this is starting to look pretty grim. Top lane gets pressured by the blue team. In the middle, we have siege giants, we have catapults, so there is just an enormous amount of pressure entire time from the Raccoons. 36 stacks for Cassia now. Dehaka still trying to deal with the bottom of the map. Blue team has again taken a small lead in experience, and now that we're focusing on more mercenary camps, the red team wants to fight, but we gotta be careful here. They're super low. Murden, Oriel, they're all in trouble. Disciple hit by the Haymaker, but he's still fine. Gavlo with Twin Blades Varian is moving back too. He's still alive and kicking. Hasn't fully completed his High King's quest, by the way, yet. And Hogger just blocking it out, but then getting destroyed on the back end of the fight. The barbecue play from Diablo. But they just can't get those kills, can they now? Twin Blades Varian is trying to have an impact here, but it's honestly not really happening. He's sitting at 34,000 damage. Diablo has more damage than Varian at this point in time. So that whole damage output build that he's attempting here isn't really working for them. But they are still getting at least some kills in, and as expected, Orphea is an absolute menace to deal with in these fights. One of the reasons why Murden is making so many plays for her directly, to apply pressure onto Disciple and make sure that he can't just attack safely from the backline. Hypernova with an attempt to go for the Garden Terrors now. They want the objective, and immediately Orphea ready with this. Couple of stuns already coming through. The Haka needs to be a little bit careful here. Moves back out. Polybomb used, but they're trying to make their play for Cassia, and she's in actual trouble. Gavlo again low. Aegis already being used. The Haka is low, and this is going to be... There has to be at least one kill. I mean, the Haka desperately trying to get away. Big whip from Oriel, saving him for now, and he's trying to hearth, but the seed will have to be given up. And the picture on the map is still the same. Every single lane gets pressured by the Raccoons, by their catapults that just keep pushing. The blue team hasn't lost a single fort yet, and it shows. They keeps under enormous pressure on the side of Hypernova. They have 10 kills to 4, but they can't really break through this vicious cycle here. They haven't been able to go for that big team fight victory that would allow them to go for the objective, claim that seed, get the Garden Terrors, and take some of the forts out. Another huge 5v5 battle coming through now, and who's gonna take it this time? Diablo immediately with the barbecue, the stun, and Oriel is gone. Oriel is gone, and without the support, this could be the beginning of the end for them here. This could be a huge problem now. Oriel was the backbone of the team in every single big battle. Now everybody is starting to be super low. Nice damage from Cassia. She's coming in again to try and save the day for them. 69,000 damage at this point, but the keep is about to fall. The bot lane is also getting pressured, and nearing level 20, the blue team is marching towards the core. They want to end the game right here, right now. They don't have level 20 yet, but they are trying to get as much damage done before Oriel is back to business. Cassia also retreating. Everybody a bit low on the blue team side as well, though, so you gotta be careful here. Diablo once more hit by the polybomb, spreads it nicely. Disciple moving over to the left side. Keeps getting more and more attacked in the middle and at the bot lane, so the defense has to start to spread out pretty thinly in order to make this work. Diablo goes down, but this keep over here might actually fall. Cassia's trying to prevent it, but the keep is gone. Bot lane, more damage is coming in, so 2 lanes now without a keep, and that is a bit of a disaster for Hypernova. They were already struggling with lane pressure previously when it was only forts pressuring against them. Now it's a catapult on every single wave. With 20, we get the Lord of Terror for Diablo, and we get Orphea with a monster within right here. Once again, the upgrade also for Medivh with the glyph of Polybomb, and they are going into the next battle. Bot lane, the same picture as we see previously. Hypernova needs to be careful. They might have to send the Haka back at some point, but the fight is also not really going their way, is it now? Aegis being used already. Muradin jumping out the barbecue. They're trying to burn them to a crisp. Once again, Kablamo in trouble. Cassia about to fall, gets through the portal, but it's the Haka that dies, and Oriel is attempting to escape towards the back of the fight. Bot lane under enormous pressure now. It's not only the catapult and the minion waves that are coming in here, it's also the mercenary camp that was already taken, and the core is under pressure with double catapults through the middle and another wave already joining to the top. Nice stun into the corner, and Oriel is gone. The pressure just too much. A nice showing from Hypernova, as they did a fantastic job here, but it seems like now things are going to completely fall apart for them. With 7 kills to 11, the Raccoons are making their way towards the core. The keeps are all gone, and it is just mercenary camp after mercenary camp, together with catapults, pushing to end their game. This is victory. The Raccoons, they take the W, they murder Muradin, and this is the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series here in the first round of Group A at the Murky Cup. Nicely done, well played, and a well-deserved victory on the first map for the blue team. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. Map number 2, we are going to Dragonshire for our second game between the Raccoons and Hypernova. The blue team in the lead after the recent victory on Garden of Terror. And now we have on the left side Disciple on Genji, Gavlo on Hanzo, Scourge on Rhaegar, twice on Anubarak, and it is bounty time again. We have Murky, played by Ubi. They're going again for another big bounty here, as on the right side for Team Hypernova, we got Kablamo on Mal'Ganis, Suxumuxo still on the heels with Ana, Welcorn on Blaze, and Panajay is playing Gazlo in game number 2 with Grolk on Kel'Thuzad. So both Gazlo and Kel'Thuzad are actually heroes that are attached to a bounty. But there's a couple of things that are quite important. You can only complete one bounty as a team per map. There's also another side note that I should probably point out now, and that is that we changed things in this tournament just a tiny little bit. Previously, when we ran the bounty system, you didn't get anything when you attempted a bounty, but you weren't able to win the game. And we changed it slightly for this tournament, trying to see how this works out. But if you now attempt a bounty as a team and you don't win the map, you still get half a bounty point. So this should incentivize teams to be experimenting a little bit more with bounties, and at the same time it'll also make sure that teams that don't make it into the top 3, that might be a bit on the weaker end, that they can still try to have some fun here and also get a little bit of pizza money so that they get at least something out of it. So we'll see if Hypernova is now able to win the map here, how this is going to work out. I already like what we're seeing from Murky here. I mean, first of all, I love still the synergy with the mounts on the side of the raccoons. Once again, the raccoon mount, and as we're seeing, he is trying to take down the minion waves as quickly as possible. The whole idea being to just proxy those minion waves and apply more pressure to that top lane. And we'll see how this is going to work out. I've seen it with Murky, I've seen it with the Vikings in the past. On level 1 for Murky, we now got the Fisheye, for example. But the Gazlo and Khaldor's combo is going to be pretty interesting when we're going into the bigger team fights here. Specifically, of course, with Anna as the healer. So she can definitely boost Khaldor, for example, quite heavily after level 10. So we're going to keep an eye on that. For now, we have a 4-man rotation of the red team as they're moving from lane to lane in an attempt to apply pressure and also to grab that bot lane shrine. But at the same time, Murky has already succeeded in applying some pressure here at the top lane, with now Genji moving in and very quickly taking control over the top lane shrine. The 4 talents are now slowly kicking in, which means that we have the slime time for Murky. So the frog in the bubble at the top lane, getting aggressive again, and Velcon now has to deal with Murky and with Genji. Gets the jet propulsion connected, but yeah, Murky has been starting to... I don't want to say do some damage, but to be a little bit annoying here. Maybe not quite the impact that they were initially thinking of. Blaze has been handling things pretty well, all things considered. But at the bottom of the map, the red team is now trying to use that numbers advantage that they're currently holding to get the walls destroyed here. And they are succeeding in taking both of the towers out and also dropping the gates. Good on them. The siege continues. And this is, by the way, also where, generally speaking, Khaldor is usually excel. If you have him in a position where he can siege in, especially once that he completes his baseline, when he gets the spike and when he gets the extra spell power, then you can really do a whole lot here. Where Khaldor struggles a lot, though, is when he gets engaged upon. He just doesn't have a lot of hit points, and this is just the absolute perfect situation to showcase this. And since we have Hanzo Genji on the side of the blue team, there will be a lot of pressure from the two of them against Khaldor. The mobility is definitely there. And just imagining for a moment that Murky goes into Octograb on level 10. Once they have that ability, they can pin not only Anna and Gazel down, but also Khaldor, and all of those would definitely suffer if they get caught here. 2 kills now in total for the Raccoons as they're dropping Gazlo at the bot lane, and they can attempt to go for the first Dragon Knight of the match. We also have a chance to, consult the level 7 talent, get that DK, and there it is. So 4 minutes in, and we have the first Dragon Knight, and that is a lot of pressure against Team Hypernova. It really feels like the composition that they were running in the last game was just a bit better for them. They had some very nice early game success that they could build upon, but at least here they are seemingly starting to struggle a lot more. They go up against the Dragon Knight now. We have Avatar pushing in with his beetles, soaking up a couple of the tower shots and allowing the rest of the heroes to attack even further. And then the continuous pressure of Murky at that top lane, just proxying waves whenever possible. 10 stacks on the level 4, and we got the Black Lagoon on level 7. Despite the fact that they have a slight lead in experience and 2 kills, we haven't seen them to get too far away here yet, but we're only 4 or 5 minutes into this, so we'll see how this plays out. But for now, we have 22,000 damage for Hanzo. We're looking at 6,000 damage top on the side of Hypernova. I mean, it's normal that Khaldor just ranks up as it continues, right? He's really scaling. I mean, you need to complete that baseline to unleash his full potential. And you can do a whole lot with him, especially if you have a few heroes that start off with stuns for him. The jet propulsion comes in, maybe it's Khaldor, but they need to get some damage out here. Right now, they don't have a single hero that went past 10k, and that is actually quite something. They try and invade here and go for the camp, but they're not able to steal it away from the Raccoons. Murky set hello quickly as well. Now we have 15 stacks at least for Khaldor, so Grolk is slowly getting there. But they will be up against the level 10 talent in just a moment, and then they need to be very, very careful before they engage into another fight. Still expecting auto grab for Murky. Unless he wants. No, he actually goes for March of the Murlocs. Alright. Murky is going for the March, meaning that we're going to see him maybe more on the side lane and trying to get the PvE damage through. I thought he would use the opportunity to jump into the team fights and attempt to tee Genji and his X-Strike up, but we're seeing none of that just yet. Top lane, the two of them, Genji and Murky, are currently trying to go for the kill here. And Velcon is pretty low, and here are the Murlocs. So Murlocs are coming in as well. X-Strike is already through, and there's some extra damage up at that top lane. As at the bottom of the map, Panda J is getting focused, and he gets out of the fight. Nice. The Gas Lord, ladies and gentlemen. Totally unimpressed, and Khaldor, some sexy plays here, nearly a kill, but then he gets engaged upon and falls a moment later. They're trying to get the counter kill on twice, but even that doesn't happen, and instead it's Ana that falls. That's 6 kills to 0. Wow! And tons of momentum now in the hands of the Raccoons, of course. They're holding a 2-level lead. The red team hasn't gotten a single kill yet, and this should be another objective for the blue team. We finally have level 10 abilities, at least for Hypernova. I mean, it really was about time. Maybe that allows them to fight back into this, but of course, it's going to be pretty tough here. The first structures are soon going to fall for sure. Shadow Fissure in for Khaldor, who immediately gets kicked out of the way. But the Dragon Knight will eliminate the fort in the mid lane, and they will likely then rotate towards the bot lane or top lane to try and get a bit more value out of this. And the DK is already underway. At the bottom of the map, they've started to do some work here too. Dragon Knight actually instead going for the wall of the keep, and Murky is pushing through the top. Now the top side fort has of course taken some damage previously already as Murky went in together with Genji, but the real big damage is still coming from the Dragon Knight and this attempt by the remaining heroes at the bottom of the map to do some work here. Ana got kicked and killed. That's kill number 7. And the Raccoons, I mean, after game number 1, it seems like they needed a warm-up game, but they are crushing it right now. They're going through Team Hypernova like hot butter through cheese, aiming for the next kill and taking down Khaldor. That is 8 kills in total, and they have level 13 talents. 43,000 damage from Genji. And oh boy, if you just look over at Team Hypernova, their top damage dealer has roughly a third of that. A third. Genji, for example, is sitting at 26,000. Hansa, as I mentioned, at 45k. Now they go for Blaze again, and he's gone. Ana, Granny's trying to get away. She actually escapes. But even in the middle of the map, we've seen some more kills. They're already going for the keep here. Top side, for example, Gazel's in trouble. At least is able to take down Murky. But the attacks continue here. Ana and Gazlo against Rhaegar and Uburak. And in the middle of the map, it is Hanzo and Genji, the Shimada brothers, that are trying to go for the keep here. And they already have it down to nearly 50% of its HP, even with Khaldor trying to defend. But Ana is in the corner, and that is the end of her. Gazla has also died, and we're now looking at a dozen kills for the Raccoons, and not a single kill for Team Hypernova. They were always the underdog heading into this series. They have nowhere near the tournament experience that we have from other players in this. Big shout out to them, by the way, and thanks a lot for signing up for the tournament. It's always nice when you have, you know, new teams, new players coming in and saying like, hey, yeah, we're going to sign up for this, we're going to play here, you know, put their name out there. Much better than just having some keyboard warriors always talking about how every single game looks like their quick match. So these guys, at least, they come in, you know, they put their name on the line here and they're saying, okay, we're gonna play, we're gonna do our best. And game number 1 looked actually pretty good. Game number 1 looked great, way better than here. Now finally kill for them. Genji is gone. And that also completes the quest for Khaldor, so now he is going to be able to get a lot more damage out from this point onwards. Let's see if this is maybe turning things around for them a little bit. But this is definitely a much harder map now for them than Garden of Terror. Garden of Terror, they look great. I mean, they had so many good team fight moments. They were for essentially the entire game ahead in kills as well. So there were several moments where it seemed like they could lock in the objective, win that team fight, and then flip the entire game and maybe take the victory. But it hasn't really worked out. The Raccoons, especially in the late game, just better on the decision making. Now that we're in game number 2 though, it is the blue team that is running the show. But there are some signs of a comeback at least for Team Hypernova. They have a huge gap that they need to bridge, of course, with them still being 2 levels behind. But they are starting to do some damage here. Now Mal'Ganis though is going to be able to get out. Rise and has the mobility. And with Blaze also moving in, it's highly likely that it's going to be able to escape. But the arrow missing first and foremost. At least Mal'Ganis made it out. Instantly also the Cocoon, after we've seen, for example, the Nano Boost. That's always a nice play. If you have Ana Nano boosting someone and Nuburak is on your team, you still have Cocoon ready, that should be your primary target immediately. That shuts down a lot of tools on the other side, and basically Nano Boost is wasted unless the target is freed immediately. Now we have the third objective up on the map. Murky already taking control of the top lane, and down at the bottom of the map, this is where Team Hypernova seems to be trying to make a stand. Disciple, I mean, he is continuously moving towards the middle to poke that keep, and he can freely do so. There's not a whole lot that can lock him down and seriously threaten his life. So this is a pretty smart move by the Raccoons. It forces the reaction out of their opponent time and time again, and just forces them to use resources in order to fall back and defend that keep. Top side needs to be defended now too, as Murky pushed in another wave. The problem is that down here, Mal'Ganis is in trouble. Here come the Murlocs, and Gazlo and Mal'Ganis are in trouble. Mal'Ganis is the first one to fall. Ana has been destroyed, and with the double kill, they're trying for more. They're not able to lock in a third, but they are of course able to now go again for the Dragonite and lock in another objective. We have level 18 versus level 16. Murky is going to be the one to claim it here. Ooh, and that is... I mean, this is going to cost the red team at least a keep. Maybe more. So, Dragonites in the middle. They're going to go for the mid lane keep first. And then the question is just simply, what are they aiming for after that? We have them right now on level 19, so that's 1 level until 16 talented. And they're actually not even going for the mid lane. They have the catapults push this one, and they're just going for the bottom of the map, where they grab siege giants, so they can use them for the attack too. And instantly moving in with Genji and an X-Strike. Yeah, Murky is doing as much damage as he can here. By the way, still on cooldown for the March of the Murlocs, so can't just simply pop out of the Dragonite and then drop his ult on the core or the keep to get even more damage done here. But the keep at the bottom of the map is now gone. They could rotate into the middle, or of course attempt to get maybe some kills here. Quick punt against Gazlo, who is still the top damage dealer for the team, sitting at 33,000. But Genji makes short work of him, comes in and takes him on. And this is not looking pretty for Hypernova. They're already 0-1 in this series. If they lose here on Dragonshire, then they would drop down into the lower bracket. The Raccoons trying to advance and complete another bounty, and they're about to lock in the Berkey bounty. This is a win. This is a W. The refueled Raccoons, ladies and gentlemen, with a 2-0 victory in the first round of Group A here at Murky Cup number 2. Nicely done, GG, and well played.